Tessa Thompson, welcome to Colombia. I keep thinking about Thor and Zeus, and I wonder if you've ever been disappointed by a hero.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have been often disappointed by leadership in this country. I'm currently disappointed by the Supreme Court in the decision to overturn Roe versus Wade. Um, but I think that that's the tricky thing in terms of making elected officials heroes. I think really we are the heroes. Certainly in this country, most of the positive, remarkable change that has happened as the result of very dedicated civilians, actually, that hold their elected leaders. You get to see that in a comical way with Chris in our movie meeting his heroes. That's what they say, never meet your heroes, meeting his hero Zeus and being less than, I have to say, on the flip side, I have met many heroes that are lovely, heroes of mine that are lovely, actually in the context of Thor movies, like meeting Anthony Hopkins. I got to work with him on both, in the context of these movies and on Westworld. Christian Bale has been an acting hero of mine for a very long time, and he is fantastic and did not disappoint. So I also feel lucky that I've gotten to meet heroes that are worthy of looking up to.
Well, you were talking about the government, and I was actually going to ask you if the powerful have forgotten about people.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And I mean, and I look at what's happening with Roe versus Wade right now, and some people will say it's an attack on women, which is definitely true, but it's also an attack on our autonomy, on our personhood as humans. And that's something that we should all be concerned about, right? Globally, particularly if one of the most powerful nations on the globe can do that. So I certainly think that's true. And actually in the first Thor Ragnarok, that was one of Valkyrie's complaints, is that she felt like Thor's family and the throne had forgotten about their people, and I think, again, I think that's where the people come in. It's if we have to continuously remind those in power that when we're treated unjustly and unfairly, that we won't stand for it. And we especially have to do that even when it doesn't just happen to us. I think in this film, for example, you get to see sort of the sisterhood of these two very powerful women come together. And something that felt very exciting to me is that's something that I feel like Natalie has been someone inside of my industry that I've gotten to fight with, and that is constantly engaged with how she can sort of use her platform or whatever resources she has to help and empower others. And I think that that's something that we have to just continuously be doing on behalf of each other as citizens. I think we as people really and truly are the most powerful.
Finally, do you think one can actually be transformed by love or by hate?
Absolutely. I mean, you see so much of the hate is actually communicated are things that are taught, that are given. I think very few children come into this world as hateful beings. I think they're indoctrinated into that very, very often. I think you see that is the case. And I think that love is hugely, hugely, hugely transformative. What I wish we would see more often, though, is that we could love in ways that are big and small, even with people that are not our own. I think sometimes there's this idea, this very myopic idea of love that has to do with love that someone that someone that you entirely understand. It's one of the things I really love about film is and television, and the stories that we tell, is the stories that we tell connect us to our own humanity, but they also have the power to connect us to humanity that we don't understand entirely if we can sit and listen in ways that are empathetic and open. And so that's my hope. That's why I like making movies. And obviously it's not changing the world, but certainly political change is preceded by cultural change. And I think we do have the ability in the stories that we tell to create cultural conversations. And if there's any cultural conversation to be had in the context of this very silly, fun superhero movie, I think, is that love is something that really can heal us. And all kinds of love. And that even and especially in moments of loss or pain, when we feel inclined to close our hearts off to others because we're afraid of being hurt, or afraid of hurting, that's the moments when we have to be diligent about opening our heart and continuing to love, and love in ways that are bigger than just yourself. And that's something that I think this movie says that I hope that audiences take away, because it feels like an important thing to be reminded of, especially now.
Tessa, thank you very much. I loved this interview.